to the channel, welcome to another video. Merry Christmas to you all. It is Christmas Eve today, but of course we are entering into the festive period. Christmas Day is tomorrow, but beyond that point, the football still continues. We have a Boxing Day feast for us to sink our teeth into in terms of football. And then, of course, the days after that, we've got plenty more football to come as the busy festive calendar year continues. This, of course, is going to be the video where we do all of the talk, analysis and predictions on the festive period of football. Can't wait to get into that. But before we do, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comments section as well. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, feelings, but most of all, of course, your predictions on how you think each and every single game will go during this festive period of football. Where would a Premier League predictions video be, after all, people, without your predictions? That is my question to you all. Right, now that that's out of the way and done with, let's get on with the video. And we're starting off with Manchester City taking on Everton. Big game for both of these sides, and I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, if I had to pick one of these two sides to go on and win, it would be Manchester City. But I think Everton could spring a bit of a surprise here. And not just because Man City are in absolutely abysmal form right now. Pep Guardiola's side have only got one win in their last 12 games. Their last game was a defeat at the hands of Aston Villa, adding more pressure, insult to injury to this Manchester City side that have been so dominant for the past several years. Everton in the past couple of games have managed to take points off of the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea. Could they go to another big club and do the same with City? They should really be sensing blood here. This City side are fragile. This City side are nervous. They are lacking courage. They are lacking any kind of leadership, any kind of stability right now. Everton should see this as a game that is there for the taking. If they play their cards right, if they play their usual game that they can play against the big clubs, where they are stable, where they're solid defensively and attacking wise, if they make the right decisions, and if the likes of, if the likes of your strikers and your wingers are in the very good form that they can be in these types of situations, making the right decisions at the right moments, being a thorn in the side of those Man City defenders who are seemingly terrified right now every time the ball goes forward, this Everton side can do some damage against City. Look, it is Everton at the end of the day, so if I had to pick a winner, I'm going with City. But I just think the festive period could throw up a bit of a surprise. I think the festive period could be actually decent for Everton. They have picked up a couple of good points in recent weeks, like I mentioned earlier. I think we could be seeing Everton get something from this game, and that's why I've gone with a 1-1 draw at the Etihad on Boxing Day. Next up, Bournemouth are taking on Crystal Palace, and I've gone with a 3-1 victory in favour of the home side at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth, very good win at the weekend against Manchester United. 3-0. Andoni Areola's side ran out there. Palace started to pick up a few decent points here and there. But of course, a massive 5-1 hammering against Arsenal at the weekend will not do them any favours whatsoever. It has the potential to be a bit of a banana skin for Bournemouth to slip up on. They are, of course, going into this one as the favourites. The home side flying high, doing very well in the league this season. Has a potential banana skin kind of feel to this game. And of course, with the likes of Mateta and all the other players that Palace have in the attacking sense, it does kind of represent that Palace could definitely get something from this game. But I am going to go with the favourites. I am going to go with Bournemouth to win. And I just think with the form of the likes of Kluivert and Semenyo and Ivan Nilsson up front, I just think Bournemouth will get the job done and get over the finish line and get the 3 points on Boxing Day. Next up, Chelsea against Fulham in a big London derby, and I've gone 2-1 to Chelsea. Now, Fulham have been very good this season. Very, very good this season. They picked up a few good points here and there. Picked up a good point against Liverpool. Picked up a good point against Arsenal. Probably a missed opportunity not to have beaten Southampton at the weekend. But Marco Silva's side is still going pretty strong. And we all know that against the big clubs this season, they have been a thorn in their side. And Chelsea should be no different. Chelsea need to win this game. They had a big opportunity on Sunday to at least leapfrog Liverpool for a good couple of hours before they played Spurs. They didn't take that opportunity. They dropped points at the hands of Everton. This is another Everton-type fixture for them. This is another banana skin in the form of Fulham. Fulham, very good opposition. Can be very good on their day. Can be very awkward to play against. The likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Raul Jimenez, Alex Iwobi's even started chipping in with a few goals here and there so far this season. They have got the players that can cause Chelsea some real problems. Alternatively, though, Chelsea obviously have some players that can cause some real problems against Fulham. Cole Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, just to name a couple. But Chelsea's defence isn't exactly watertight, and I think that that can be an area that Fulham certainly can exploit if they are direct and if they are decisive on the counter-attack. Allow Chelsea to have the ball, win it in some key areas, and then break from there. The fullback positions especially are seemingly a point where they can really hit the most, especially if they have the likes of Adama Traore fit and ready to go. Then Fulham certainly can cause some damage there. However, I don't see them having enough to beat Chelsea. I think Chelsea will scrape through this game by hook or by crook. And that's why I've gone with a 2-1 victory for the Blues. Next up, Newcastle against Aston Villa. And I really could not pick a winner for this one because I could honestly see both of these sides having really good points and really bad points. Newcastle have picked up some really good form in recent weeks. Alexander Isak especially seems to be red hot and firing on all cylinders in front of goal. And as for Aston Villa, well, they were absolutely brilliant against Manchester City at the weekend. But these are the types of games that both sides have slipped up in so far this season. So maybe we'll see both of them slip up in some way, shape or form in this game. And that's why I've decided to call it down the middle. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be awkward. I don't expect it's going to be plain sailing for either club here. But if form and recent history is to go on, Newcastle probably should be winning this game. They are coming into this one in the better of the two teams' forms, in my opinion. They obviously beat Aston Villa home and away last season. So maybe I would have picked Newcastle, but I don't know. I really don't know. My heart is telling me... my heart was telling me to go Newcastle. My head was telling me to go Aston Villa. My gut was telling me draw. And I think on this occasion, I'm going with my gut feeling of a draw. I still think Alexander Isak will get on the score sheet in this game. So fantasy football managers, get him in your teams ASAP. Especially with a decent and favourable fixture list to come for Newcastle beyond this game, in my opinion. But that isn't to say that obviously Aston Villa don't have threats of their own. If Yuri Tillemans continues how he left off against Manchester City, his midfield performance was absolutely dominating in that game. Morgan Rogers has been a brilliant player all season for Aston Villa, and John Duran is scoring goals for fun. So, yes, those three in particular will be food for thought for Newcastle, but I just think a draw is what is going to occur in this game. But like I say, I'm not entirely confident, but we should be in for a fantastic game at St James's Park, nonetheless. Moving on, the City Ground awaits the arrival of Tottenham Hotspur as Nottingham Forest go up against Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. And I've gone with a 2-1 win to Forest. Now, hear me out. I was initially going to go 1-1. But I just think Forest will sneak something, you know. Forest have been flying high. They're in the top 4, for God's sake. Well, near enough top 4, top 5. I think they'll get something from this, you know. I really, really do think. I think Nuno Espirito Santo, former Tottenham manager, of course, are going to want to kind of get one over on his old side. I think that Forest, the way they've set up this season has been pretty solid for the most part. Obviously, there are a few hiccups along the road, but that's going to happen. Defensively, been solid. Midfield-wise, they've worked very well together. I think the inclusion of and transfer of Elliot Anderson, for example, has been a brilliant signing for Forest. working well with the likes of Morgan Gibbs-White, working well with whoever else he's partnered with in there. Ryan Yates from time to time as well, a real warrior in there. And then, of course, you've got the two dangerous wingers. You've got Elanga on one side, Hudson-Odoi. No matter who they've got on either side, it's dangerous. And then, of course, you've got Chris Wood up front, who is scoring goals for fun. And I don't think anybody would have said that when he obviously made that big money move from Newcastle to Forest. But yes, he's turned out to be one of the more prolific goal scorers that the Premier League has seen for the past couple of years. I just think, given the fragile nature of Tottenham right now, given the awkwardness of Tottenham right now, given the fact that they are so hot and cold, given the fact that they're so inconsistent, Forest should be sensing that they can get not just a point from this game, but maybe a win as well. Tottenham have a number of injuries. That should not be a major excuse for why they're dropping points to these kinds of lower ranked teams than them, shall we say. And in this situation, Forest are actually higher than them. But they do have injuries that I think Forest can certainly exploit. There were maybe a lot of things that maybe Forest could see from the Liverpool-Tottenham game at the weekend in which they could actually exploit themselves. I think Forest will get the win in this one. Could be wrong, of course, and Tottenham could actually turn up and they could actually play their mesmerising and very intense and very fast-paced type of football that they want to play and maybe blow Forest out of the water. But I think Forest can certainly get something from this game. And I'm just got to go with my gut feeling again and say Forest actually do get the win in this one. So I'm going 2-1 to Forest. Another bad day at the office for Ange Postecoglou's men. Moving on, St Mary's awaits the arrival of West Ham United as Southampton take on West Ham. The Saints against the Hammers. A new era dawns at Southampton. New manager in waiting, taking over his first game on Boxing Day against Julian Lopetegui's West Ham, who's coming under increasing pressure himself. I've gone 2-1 to West Ham. This should be a favourable game for West Ham, but the new manager kind of does throw a little bit of a spanner in the works, of course. We know how new manager bounces can often occur, and that can often throw the favourable team in that instance into a bit of chaos and disarray. Normally players do turn up for a new manager wanting to prove a point. So this could be a very awkward sort of game for West Ham to navigate through, but it is one that I believe West Ham can navigate through. They can get over the finish line. They can get 3 points. They can ease the pressure on their manager and head coach in doing so. But I don't think it will be necessarily as easy as what many people are going to predict, especially if Southampton change their approach. We know that them playing out from the back really does not work for them. It does not work for the types of players that they have. So, again, if they are going to continue that way, West Ham can maybe pick them off at key areas and at more high places on the pitch. But it is not going to be all smooth sailing for West Ham, I would imagine. I would imagine that Southampton will pose them a lot of food for thought, and I think that can obviously happen in this one. So, yeah, I'm going to predict a 2-1 win for West Ham, but Southampton don't come without their own threats in their own way. And obviously, if they change their style of play, they could potentially get something from this. It's not out of the realms of possibility for Southampton to at least take a point from West Ham in this scenario. Moving on to Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers are set to clash with Manchester United, and I've gone with a 2-2 draw, and I'm hoping for goals galore in this game. I'm hoping for plenty of goals in this one because I could actually make a case for both sides as to why they win this game. I think Man United, under Ruben Amorim, I think the setup has been better. I think the structure defensively has been better. I think their attacking play has been more piercing, more penetrating, more exciting to watch, shall we say, than it was under the previous regime. The only issue for United is sometimes they don't take their chances and they make stupid mistakes defensively that have cost them stupid goals. Taking nothing away from Bournemouth at the weekend, but or even in previous games for Manchester United, against Tottenham, for example, in the Carabao Cup. But stupid mistakes have let Man United down in the past few games, which is why I think Wolves can definitely exploit that. For Wolves, it's a little bit of the same, because whilst they have good football behind them, obviously there's a new manager as well that could really throw a spanner into the works as well. Like I mentioned earlier with Southampton, new manager bounce and all that stuff. They also make stupid mistakes, and sometimes they don't take their chances. So I think we're going to be in for a very interesting game, to say the least, at Molineux when these two teams battle it out. I've gone 2-2. I think Man United's individual quality and star power could see them over the finish line and get the 3 points. I was tempted to go 3-2 Manchester United, but I think 2-2 is probably going to be fair, and I think the points will be shared come the end of this game. I've got another 2-2 here. Brighton against Brentford. The Amex Stadium awaits the arrival of Brentford in this one. We're moving on to, I believe, the 27th of December's games now. Brighton against Brentford. So this one should be an interesting game, really, because this one could go a little bit under the radar, because obviously there are bigger games in progress over the course of the next few days. But it should be a really good, entertaining game of football between two teams that like to get the ball down and play. You've got Brighton, who like to dominate possession, like to get the ball down, play their nice football, and Brentford, who can be lightning quick on the counter-attack. And if you give them an inch, they will take that inch. I've gone 2-2. I feel like Brentford could definitely cause some food for thought on the counter-attack for Brighton. I think as soon as they lose the ball, the likes of Bryan Mbeumo and Visser especially will be difficult for Brighton to handle. We've seen that defensively they're not exactly as solid, Brighton, as we would imagine that they would be. But Brighton obviously have threats of their own going forward. So I think we could be in for a very entertaining game at the Amex Stadium. One that I'm personally looking forward to and interested in seeing. But we shall see how this one plays out. Again, I could make a case for any of these two sides to go on and take the game by the scruff of the neck and win win and take the 3 points. But I'm going to call it down the middle. I'm going to go 2-2, and we're going to see how this one plays out. And next up, we have got Arsenal against Ipswich, and I've gone with a 3-0 victory for Arsenal. I just think Arsenal will be superior in every single department. Not that Ipswich can't necessarily lay a glove on Arsenal or give them some food for thought in this game, but I just think that even despite the absence of Bukayo Saka, Arsenal should have enough about them to carve open, tear apart the Ipswich defence, whether it be through open play or whether it be through their trusty set-piece game that is in their, Arsenal. I just think Arsenal will be superior, and I think that the likes of Martin Odegaard will run the show. I think Gabriel Jesus was in excellent goal-scoring form over this past week or so, after like a year or something of not scoring. I think that Arsenal will take the kind of form from their last game against Crystal Palace, where they won 5-1, and they'll take it into this game, a favourable game against Ipswich, and we'll tear them apart. I want to make a case for Ipswich, of course I do. Boxing Day and the Christmas period can throw some very strange results out, but I think this is probably one of the more favourable and one of the more easier games to call over the course of the festive period. So, unfortunately for Ipswich, I don't see them getting much out of this game, if anything. And finally, what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the highlights of this round of Premier League fixtures, the main event, as I see it, Liverpool against Leicester. Top of the table, Liverpool, going into this game 4 points clear, so no matter what happens in this game, they will stay top of the Premier League over Boxing Day and the Christmas period and stuff like that. They go against Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester City, an old enemy, an old foe in a former Manchester United player in Ruben Amorim, of course. In Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course. I've gone 3-0 Liverpool. Now, this one again should be one of the more favourable and easier games to call, with all due respect to Leicester. Liverpool top of the table. Liverpool flying higher right now. Massive 6-3 victory over Spurs on Sunday. Playing some really good football. Managing to find ways to win games. Even if they're not playing that well. Should be able to find a way past Leicester. And do it somewhat convincingly. Lay down another statement. Especially with, Chelsea, their nearest rivals right now. Facing a tough game against Fulham. Arsenal against Ipswich, they obviously played before the Arsenal-Ipswich game, so it could be an opportunity for Liverpool to apply more pressure on Arsenal that they definitely need to win that game. Not that they already need to, but applies a bit more pressure for them to actually go on and win the game as well. I've gone 3-0. I just think that with the form of the likes of Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai in recent games, Alexis McAllister controlling things in the midfield, Luis Diaz firing on all cylinders every so often this season. I just think Liverpool have enough about them defensively to neutralise Leicester, midfield-wise to control the game and see the game out, and attacking-wise to get the job done in the final third. Killer instinct, cutting edge, and to just put the ball into the back of the net. I'm really hoping that is the case. I'm really hoping that's the case. And we don't have a massive slip-up here. Because this could be a massive banana skin. Obviously, there are going to be fans of the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal. And maybe some ones that from Manchester City that still think the title race for them is still on. Obviously, hoping and praying that Liverpool slip up in this one. I'm hoping we don't. We shouldn't do. We should go into this game as professionally as possible and get the job done. I fully back Arne Slot to get the tactics right on the day, to get the team selection right on the day, and to get the substitutions right on the day as well. That will see us across the finish line. If we can just eradicate the stupid mistakes that we're making from conceding goals, we should not only pick up the 3 points in this one, but we should also pick up another clean sheet as well for Alisson Becker to take home with him. So, yeah, I've gone 3-0 Liverpool. I just think with the way that we're playing right now, we are in such good form, too good form, not to keep that going right now. And obviously with a massive incentive of potentially going 7 points clear at the top of the table again, or, somewhat less than that with obviously the other games that are to be played between the rivals. We can't really focus on the rival kind of stuff. We need to just focus on our own game, of course. But the extra incentive is there for the taking. If Liverpool can, of course, get that victory, get those 3 points, and win the game as they should do. Because with all due respect, it is Leicester. They are a relegation battling side. Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken charge of them recently. He's still finding out his players. He's still obviously having to hit the ground running. Could be a massive day for Leicester if they do get something from this game. But Liverpool realistically should be winning that game. And there you have it. Those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, but most of all, of course, predictions of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of all the games that are coming up this week in a round of festive Premier League action? Let me know your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, your feelings, but most of all, of course, let me know your predictions down below in the comments section. Where would a Premier League predictions video be without your predictions, people? That's what I want to know, but I want to know your predictions more, of course. So let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down below in that comment section. Use and abuse that section, people, and talk to me on everything to do with the Premier League games that are coming up this week. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching and listening, and thank you all for your continued or even brand new support to the channel. If you are brand new, welcome along to the channel. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. Very much means a great deal to me. Will always be taken, will always be appreciated, never taken for granted. So really do appreciate that, guys. Thank you all so much for that. I've been Fletch. This has been another Premier League predictions video. Stay safe out there, people. Have a good Christmas. Enjoy it. Spending time with loved ones, friends, family, all of that stuff. Hope it is a fantastic Christmas for each and every single one of you. And I hope you enjoy the festive period of football as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Merry Christmas to you all, and I'll see you once again in another video. or live stream, or whatever it may be.